I've seen a dragonfly here. I was, it was that hot summer, 2016. I remember that because that's the year I started dating Kyle. We were going down with 4-wheelers down the coast, and a dragonfly was like keeping up with me, and I was like, "What on earth? It's a dragonfly!"
Wow.
It might not be a bad thing though. They eat mosquitoes.
It's not a bad thing.
Keep a pet dragonfly.
Also, when I was younger, I mentioned I would go camping, and I did mention I'd go boating, but my uncle and auntie would take me boating, and we would get our fresh water from, like, in the ocean. It's called Iḷisaġvik. Have you guys heard of that? It's fresh water on top of an iceberg floating in the salty ocean. Oh. So you get your fresh water that way. I was like in elementary school when we would do that. And then now it's like rare because they're saying that, because of global climate change and, the thawing ice, we don't have old ice. And the old ice is where you get the Iڵisaġvik. My other half being a whaler and, always be on the ice. He's like, you don't see that anymore, or it's very rare. You don't have like old ice. It's all like new, fresh ice.
Yeah, Niayuq was talking about that because at first I thought it was like glacier ice when you went out and got fresh water on the ocean. But he was like, no, it's a physical phenomena because it freezes, refreezes, and when it refreezes or when it melts or whatever, it sinks down. The brine sinks down, so all the salt goes to the bottom, and then fresh water stays on top, and then it refreezes again. And he said it was due to multi-year ice, old ice. Mm-hmm.
And then also the camping spot that I would go to at Iñupiat, Cape Simpson. So when I was young, there was like big bluffs, and this is just maybe 40 some miles away from here is the camping area. I went back there. I haven't been there since I was maybe 13. And then the whole bluff is like gone. So it's just like the permafrost is melting at the bluffs, near the ocean. And the beach is like almost gone. So it's like there's a lot of erosion happening. And that's really sad. Even like when you go down the coast, there's so much erosion that it's hard to drive just on the beach. You have to either go on the bluffs or take a chance and then just go through. All the waves are going, on your machine. But a lot of erosion is happening. From when we were in high school, we graduated 2010. I remember it was always like -40 out. That's rare nowadays. Mm-hmm. Like I think we had one, we didn't even have -40 yet. Mm-hmm. And it's already February. It's normally like -40 without wind chill. Mm-hmm. Yeah. With wind chill, it's like -50. But yeah, that's really rare nowadays.
Like you said already, we're an adapting people. And so we're always changing. I tried to think of examples of things that stayed the same, and I just couldn't. And even our education changed, and we adapted to it. Our environment is changing, and it has always been changing. Like we have stories, or at least the Iñupiaq past people have stories of how to hunt and kill a mammoth. Those are actual stories that have been passed down through all these generations. And obviously we don't have mammoths anymore. So we're always changing. We're always adapting. The animals change. The environment changes. What we're learning how to do is changing. Making things, our tools are changing. I was telling her I don't think it's a bad thing to say that we're always changing because we're always improving. We're always making things better adapted to our surroundings. Everything is always changing.
The only thing constant is that change is constant, almost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fashion, for one. Right? I mean, it's cool to try and make, because I've attempted to try and make like old style clothing. I enjoy doing that, for my daughter. But it's so cool to like use new designs or
use our traditional things in new ways.
Yeah. A bow would look so cute on her.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that you guys think has remained the same over the years?
Our love for our culture, our love for the things that we do, our food, our love for our food, it will never change. You know, we are going to continue hunting the food that we love. We're going to continue practicing our cultural traditions in order to hunt the food that we love. That will never change. Our family and our whole community, we love doing it. We love participating and, you know, being out on the land and gathering and, you know, picking plants and berries and fishing, camping. That love will never change. And like Katie said, our tools, you know, we'll use boats. We'll go out camping and hunting with new things. And I remember I think it was an article that Jack France, somebody interviewed him and he talked about, you know, if the ice melts, are you going to still hunt? And he's like, heck yeah, I'm still going to hunt. I'll be waiting at that shore for those whales. So I think our love will never change.
Neither will our resiliency. Forever resilient.
It seems that our love for all of those things and our love for culture has kept us in place. You know, we don't want to live anywhere else. You know, people ask us all the time, like, why do you even live there? It's so cold. It's to the end of the world. Like, you know, there's nothing there. And, you know, it's such a big question when people ask that because there's such a big answer to come back with, you know, like that's our way of life. That's just what we know. That's what we love. That's our ancestors, you know. It's hard to name anybody else that has been in one place for thousands of years. Like you can trace your family back that far and, you know, that just doesn't happen anymore. Like where? Tell me where else that this has happened and that, you know, it's been such a harsh place to live, but we still love it, you know?
I was talking with someone and I was saying, there's no point in living here if I can't eat what I eat, if I can't practice what I practice, if I can't be out on the land. There's no point in living here if I can't do that. Then if we didn't have those type of traditions, then I probably would, you know, live somewhere else. But because we're so involved in our culture and we love doing what we do, that's why we're here. We love it.
I had this question on an interview for Space Radio. I did a presentation about how in many ways the technology needed to live in the Arctic is similar to the technology needed to live in long-term spaceflight. And some of the conditions are the same, like irregular daylight and then, you know, small living quarters and ingress, egress. You got to put on a lot of stuff to go outside and take a lot of stuff off when you come inside or whatever. Anyway, so there was, he asked me, you know, like, what do I think is the biggest answer to long-term human spaceflight as an Iñupiaq person? And I was like, well, you know, if you're going to live and thrive in space, you need to allow people to have that relationship with their surroundings, with their environment. They need to be able to go out of the space station and test things out, you know, like see what's out there. Because you can't just be stuck inside the whole time. You'll go crazy. You know, we know that. And that you're able to make that relationship with the land. I guess it's not the land, but like the outside area, you know, and things and
Slow.
Yeah, just you know, everything. But I just don't think he understood. Cool. And then, did you guys have any advice for the next generation?
Come to Iḻisaġvik College, attend our Iñupiaq Studies program, enroll in our program. We'd love to give you the opportunity to go camping, sewing, learn how to cook in different ways, learn the language, some stories, and all sorts of other Iñupiaq Studies cool stuff.
I don't know what to say.
Iñupiaq, Jerica, and Katie for sharing your story and inspiring our people to continue on to higher education without having to leave the region. Iḻisaġvik College provides quality post-secondary academic, vocational, and technical education in a learning environment that perpetuates and strengthens Iñupiat culture, values, and traditions. In an effort to increase access to post-secondary education, Iḻisaġvik College offers several tuition waivers, including one for all Alaska Native or American Indian students. Iñupiaq to Jerica and Katie again for Iñupiaq Studies 101. This has been Episode 3, Higher Education, on a special series of Coffee Quaq titled Alaska Natives on the Frontline, highlighting the adaptability and resilience of the Iñupiat in the face of climate change, a project funded by the Pulitzer Center through the Connected Coastlines program, done in partnership with journalist Jenna Kunze. Throughout this series, we explore how aspects of life have been affected by climate change in Utqiaġvik, things like subsistence whaling practices, research, anthropological work, and more. Stay tuned for more episodes. The introduction music for this episode was done by Jesse Darling, and the transition music for this episode was created by Utqiaġvik resident Blurvy Beats, aka Robbie Villawan. Shout out to Jesse and shout out to Robbie. I'm Alice Kenny Glenn, over and out.